A lot changed in the 1840s. Industrialization, communication, and society as a whole began to evolve. This had major effects on our very notion of success. Capitalism began to thrive and come into its own as a movement. And with this came the notion of the self-made man, the ability of people, regardless of their upbringing, to forge a new economic reality for themselves. But along with the notion of becoming a self-made man came the possibility of losing everything and being a nothing. As Scott Sandage argues in his book Born Losers, A History of Failure in America, with few exceptions, the only identity deemed legitimate in America is a capitalist identity. In every walk of life, investment and acquisition are the keys to moving forward and avoiding stagnation. As Thoreau remarked in 1840, "It is never enough that our life is an easy one. We must live on the stretch." As the opportunities for wealth became more and more accessible in the United States, so did the possibility of being a loser or becoming a failure. Success became synonymous with wealth. The great American assumption, noted W.E.B. Du Bois, was that wealth is mainly the result of its owner's effort, and that any average worker can, by thrift, become a capitalist. And the shaping of the American economy has shaped the Jewish community as well. Living Jewishly has become more and more expensive. Kosher meat, Shabbos and holiday meals, and more than anything else, the cost of Jewish education. Families who would be middle class or upper class in any other community are feeling priced out of Judaism because of the rising costs of Jewish education. Those costs have shaped the very nature of what affiliation in the Jewish community can feel like. Bombarded with advertisements in Jewish media of luxurious Jewish programs and products, it can sometimes feel like wealth is the only window through which you can enjoy Jewish life. Yet Judaism itself does not aggrandize or demonize wealth. Charity, avoiding envy, and finding contentment with what you have are values found throughout Jewish texts. Still, it is undeniable that those societal changes that began in the 1840s are still shaping the Jewish world we live in today. Isaac Abarbanel was one of the wealthiest rabbis in Jewish history. He inherited incredible wealth from his father and used his resources to support the Jewish community. Once he even redeemed Jewish captives who were going to be sold into slavery. Eventually, when a new king of Portugal arose, John II, he was forced to flee and lost nearly all of his fortune. He spent the rest of his life working on his commentary on the Tanakh. In a letter to a student, he wrote, "I composed all these commentaries and works after I left my homeland. Prior to this, I spent all my days in the courts and palaces of kings, occupied with their duties, and I had no time to study or delve into a book. I wasted my years with vanity, amassing wealth and glory. The wealth was taken away from me and the glory was lost. Only after I was forced to wander from place to place, from one country to the next, and I lacked money, did I begin to expound on the works of God. As the Talmudic expression goes, Chasure mechsura v'hachi katani." That phrase, which normally means there's a missing word in a Talmudic text, so this is how it should be read, is cleverly repurposed to mean, I lost my wealth, so I began to study. The Jewish community, thank God, has not faced similar travails, but we need to begin to study. Study the role of wealth in our community, the feelings of failure, the meaning of success, and how we can build Jewish experiences for everyone, regardless of our economic identity. Let's begin to study together.